Look at this camera. Isn't this a gorgeous camera? I still think this camera looks incredible. Definitely the best looking camera I got, I think. I used to think the X100S might be better looking than this, but lately I'm digging this more. So the reason I'm talking about my X Pro 1, nothing new. I've already talked to you guys about this can piss strap, by the way. This is the can piss. Can piss. It works really well on this camera. So the reason I'm talking about this is just some things that have happened lately. One thing, I've noticed that they're fire sailing these with the X Pro 2. They're $4.99. I've even seen some videos like what's his name, Photo Universe. I follow Ed on Photo Universe. Subscribe to him. I recommend him. His videos are interesting. But he actually was gonna buy an X Pro 2. I think he had him pre-ordered, and he ended up canceling his pre-order and buying 2 of these. And he just was loving it and liking the fact that the autofocus he feels is faster than even the newer X100S. I'm not sure I totally agree with it. I kind of see where he's going with that, but it's different. It's contrast, so it has to kind of pump back and forth every time. But it does that very fast, so it's fast for contrast. Obviously, it can't be as quick as like a Micro Four Thirds camera, which they all, because of the tiny sensor, have really wide lenses. Like it's a 25 millimeter for a 50 equivalent on that camera, which is even wider than this, 27. I think that helps it. It's sort of an unsaid thing. People don't really talk about Micro Four Thirds. I think they can focus faster because the lenses are wider. If you think about it, the wider angle lens you have, like the 18 on this Fuji system, the 18f2 has always focused fast because it's so wide. So anyway, where I was going with this is the colors on this camera, just the images, I actually like them more than my XT1. I've been shooting this a lot lately, and the files just have some, it sounds cheesy, I don't want to say organic or more film-like, but there's just something about the colors. They look more pleasing straight out of camera, and to me that's the whole point with these Fuji cameras is straight out of camera. I shoot them in JPEG. I don't shoot RAW. I've shot RAW with them and played around with them, and I don't really see the point because the JPEGs look like just as good. Super sharp, and yeah. So anyway, what I happen to have been doing with this is because people are buying the X Pro 1s now. I noticed that the hand grip I had the original grip that didn't have access to the battery door. They discontinued it, and I noticed on eBay people were buying them for decent sum, $60-ish. So I went ahead and sold mine because I wasn't using this as a primary camera. When it was my primary camera before the XT1, I liked that grip because it gave you the better confident grip. But it's just sort of my casual, take it to a kid's birthday party, take it out the kids the park and stuff. I don't want the bigger camera, so I just decided to sell the grip. Got a buyer of it quickly on eBay, and what I actually did was I started shooting the new 35 f2 on this camera of all cameras, even though it doesn't have newer autofocus system, and kind of had an aha moment and realized as much as the original 35-1.4 was sort of a magical lens and had magical rendering, I think this is a better lens. I mean, I had said that before, but I think it actually is just better. And as much as the OVF issue with this lens is really annoying, where that corrected AF frame is way off to the corner and it's all screwed up, and I've posted about that before, it just is a better lens. And I really like the 27 too. I've been using this a ton lately with this camera, and just this is an awesome combination. But even this combo, I get why everybody's obsessed with this lens and the X Pro 2. I don't know what it is. I don't shoot this much on my XT1. My 16mm f1.4 is like glued to my XT1 lately. But I have shot it, but I don't know, nothing kind of jumped at me. But I was shooting these combined the other day, and it was just like, wow, okay. So here it is, and this is the kind of the reason I was posting this was I had talked about the f2 versus the 1.4, and I guess this is the ultimate proof in the pudding. I still own the F2, and I don't own the F1.4. I sold it on eBay. Don't regret it. I was, like I said, been using this combination, and it's just like, wow, it totally makes more sense. This is actually on sale as of like this, I think yesterday. Fujifilm started their sale. You can get this lens, the 35 f2, right now for $299. It's $100 off. That is like an insane deal. Like anybody who has the Fuji's X series and doesn't own this lens, if they're not willing to spend $299 on it now, they're an idiot, because this is an amazing deal at $300. No comparison. You know, the f1.4 normally is $600. I think it's down to $450 or something. It's a pretty good deal, but not as good of a deal as this. Is a better lens, cheaper, incredibly cheap at $300. Killer combination. Made my decision. I sold the 1.4. I have a fast f56 1.2 for when I need low light or shallow depth of field. And I'm going to include a couple shots at the end of this video. I did some comparisons, put this camera on a tripod, mounted the 35 1.4 on it, took a shot at f1.4, took a shot at f2, and then took the lens off, put this guy on, shot this at f2. You can't really tell the difference in most uses between the 1.4 and the 2 on the other lens. And obviously the f2 on this looks basically the same. But the field of view was actually tighter on this. I believe it's tighter. You'll see on the images, it's different field of view. That kind of jumped out at me, so I don't know what that's all about. Like closer up, this might not actually be still a 35. It's like a different focal length. So that was an observation. It's kind of interesting. But as far as the bokeh out of focus areas, they look the same. So really, you're just losing that stop of light gathering. So if you were at a place where this thing is requiring you to shoot at ISO 6400, if you had the 1.4 lens and set it to 1.4, you'd be able to shoot at the ISO 3200, and I mentioned that in the video. That is a benefit. Outside of that, this is the winner. And like I said, I have the 56 1.2. That will be my lens in those cases where I'm really in a pinch for no light. And as far as just normal use, this is a better lens, especially with this camera. This tighter design, even with this hood, is totally more out of the field of view of the optical finder. So the hybrid finder just looks better, and this combo, it's just like, wow, this makes sense. So I get why everybody, the X Pro 2 is loving it with this lens. I don't think I'm going to get an X Pro 2, to be honest. I don't really see the need. This still serves me fine. I'm happy with it. Image quality is awesome, and my XT1 is more of my, not that I'm a professional, but my workhorse, just basically the one I grab most often to take digital photos of my kids. This one actually has been getting more neck time lately than my X1 or XT1, but I just don't see the need. So I'm curious to see the XT2, but I don't think I'll get that one either. I just don't really feel the need to upgrade. The only Fuji digital camera that's grabbing my attention right now is the X70, because it's tiny. It's like a tiny APS-C camera with the manual controls. But even that, I don't know. I still have my X100S. It's pretty small, so yeah. Just wanted to kind of circle back with you guys on this. Just get the 35 f2. Get it right now at $299. Just don't sleep on this deal. I don't know how long it's going to last. I think they typically have their sales for about a month. But this lens at $300 is the steal. They have the 14 2.8 at $499, so $500. That's like half off, but it's not as versatile. It's not as cool. It's not as perfect. This lens is like a magical lens for Fuji. So get this guy. I can't believe right now this guy's also $299. This is a cool lens. I love how small it is. I got it for $250 a long time ago when they had one of the promos. This is totally worth $300. I question if this is worth $300. $250, it was worth it enough. I think if they sold this lens all the time for $200 or $250, they would just fly off the shelves. But it's made in China. It doesn't even have an aperture ring. I just can't see how right now Fuji's selling these lenses for the same price. This is in a total different league than this guy. Weather sealed, amazing build. This is just tiny, so that's all it got's going for it. Hopefully that was useful for you guys. Thanks.